SGA Sports Journalist of the Year, co-host of the Sunday edition, Henry Winter, who was at the game yesterday. Morning, Henry.
Good morning, Henry.
Morning, Jeff. Morning, Ali. Well, I think Pep just said it all by saying nothing there. I think he must have been speechless after a performance like that. It was, it was a total surprise.
Well, it wasn't, and yet in some respects you've seen it coming with their vulnerability defensively, haven't you, Henry? Having said all of that, when Haaland equalised, and Arsenal at that stage, they looked devoid of ideas or ambition going forward. I'm sitting at home thinking, City look the most likely side to go on and win this, which shows what I know, but also that will hand the title to Liverpool. What a response from Arsenal.
What a response from Arsenal, and what a response from their captain, Martin Odegaard, who led the press. Declan Rice is pressing as well, Trossard's pressing. They looked at Manchester City's defence. John Stones coming back in, not completely sort of up to pace, missing Diaz, missing Ederson in goal, and obviously long-term they've been missing Rodri protecting in front of them. Those are that's 3/4 of their spine, really. So, look, everyone's got a small violin out for Manchester City because they've got the resources. They have tried to strengthen, but I just thought it was that midfield of Kovacic and Bernardo Silva was simply too lightweight, if that's the right word, a little bit meek at times, in the face of the storm that was Thomas Partey and Declan Rice. So I thought they got their tactics right. I thought they realised the importance of the game in terms of their whole season, and they absolutely showed it, as you say, particularly in the second half.
Strange, Henry, looking at it, and you're right to mention Ederson, Diaz, Rodri in particular. But I'll be honest, even when Diaz has come back and played, I still think defensively they have been all over the place. Now, that was a surprise yesterday, but it's not the first time we've seen it. Jeff and I were speaking at 6 o'clock, Henry. I saw them just totally disintegrate over Lisbon. Similar defensive performance. But it's key what you mentioned there. The two lads in the middle of the park, not only were they overpowered, I just think they look as though there's a lack of legs, a lack of real pace and energy, particularly in that area.
Yeah, and as the second half went on, Arsenal's, it's difficult to say superior fitness because they're all elite athletes, but there was that strength in there. Obviously, they had the sort of, the confidence built with more and more goals. I was slightly surprised that Matheus Nunes, who's not a natural right back, was pushing further and further up the field because Trossard had a look at the space in behind him and thought, well, we know that City like overloading in midfield, but that wasn't working there because of Partey and Declan Rice, the work that they were putting in. And then you have to look, Jeff, I know you love, and Ali, I know you love your music, but this was London Calling meets Teenage Kicks because Arsenal's youngsters starting, Myles, Lewis-Skelly, totally fearless, and a slight sort of cockiness to him as well, with a celebration. Maybe at some point that lack of respect towards Haaland might come back to bite him, but I think the Arsenal fans certainly like that. And then when you get a player like Nwaneri who comes off the bench, right-sided, cuts in on his left, again, both of those players feeding off fantastic passes from Declan Rice. Arsenal knew they had to win that, and that's what drove them.
Yeah, Myles Lewis-Skelly, goodness me, what an exciting time.
Fabulous.
Gary Neville, I think, was sort of drawing comparisons with Ashley Cole. Early days, yes, obviously, but I do see where he's coming from. But from a City point of view, Henry, do you feel that Pep might be regretting his decision to stay on?
I don't know. He doesn't strike me as the type who walks away. I think in a way he was, the noises from all around him when City were in that difficult phase before he signed a new contract was almost that it made him even more sort of emboldened, determined to stay, to show that he could turn it around. And you could argue this is the biggest test for him and could be his biggest achievement if he does rebuild this City team and does build another dynasty there. They've obviously brought forward some of their signings that they planned for next summer and brought them in now, like Marmoush. Marmoush, look, we saw at Eintracht Frankfurt what a good player he is, but he just needs a little bit of time to sort of fit in and dovetail through the middle with Erling Haaland. So look, it's a huge test, and as you say, they've got Madrid coming up. They've got other games like Newcastle, Liverpool, Spurs, and Forest on the horizon. So February is going to be tricky for them, but Pep is a determined individual, but there were occasional times when he was throwing up his hands in frustration because the intensity just simply wasn't there, or the quickness with which City can move the ball wasn't there.
Henry, where are you with the the whole situation. I must admit, Jeff and I were again talking about it. I don't mind it at all. The wind-ups, Myles-Skelly and with Haaland and Gabriel with Haaland after the first goal. But yes, Arsenal, great, thoroughly deserved it. Excuse me, and deserved their moment. However, do they need a wee reminder that they're 6 points behind Liverpool, potentially 9 points behind them, and they haven't won anything yet?
I can understand why Arsenal wanted to celebrate that, and it is a modern trend. Your generation, when you've just about celebrated the league. I mean, current generation celebrate a goal kick. It's a different society. It's a different sort of football climate. So I can understand it in a way. But you look at, as you say, Liverpool just serenely going about their work, difficult circumstances at the weekend. Mo Salah still probably football of the year. You probably could declare already to have so many votes.
Beautiful second goal.
Yeah, I mean, Arsenal have got to win something. Obviously, they won the FA Cup under Arteta. We can see the sort of direction of travel under Arteta. It's been fantastic, the way he's rebuilding, the quality of the players. The youngsters coming through from Haaland, huge credit to the youth team coaches there. But he's got to go and win something. And at the moment, Liverpool are in charge.
Jack has texted in and said, Jeff, it was a brilliant game. The best dead rubber I've ever seen. I think we can assume he's a Liverpool fan. Just finally, Henry, a quick word. A clean sheet for Tottenham. Big Ange does have a plan B.
Yeah, I mean, it's good. I mean, I instinctively like Ange because he plays good football. He's honest. He's quite a character, and they've got some good kids there. I mean, we talk about Arsenal's kids, but they're all over North London at the moment. Obviously, a couple of them. I like Bergvall, the way that he will take the ball under pressure, whatever the circumstances. He's 18, 19. Obviously, Archie Gray, Ali, you'll know the sort of the roots that he's got in the game. I mean, he's football through and through, and he's playing out of position a lot of the time. So, no, I was pleased for that, and that was a huge result for Ange.
Henry, thank you very much indeed.
Have a good week,
guys.
mate.
Have a good week.
Don't forget, you'll hear more from Henry every Sunday from 9 when he's alongside Sean Custis for the Sunday edition. Just a quick word on what happened at Newcastle the weekend. Brilliant win for Fulham. But Ash, the Newcastle fan, has been in touch 2 or 3 times now, and he said, just wanted to mention the disgraceful and abhorrent racial abuse on Instagram of Joe Willock over the weekend. An utter disgrace from so-called Newcastle fans. The real Newcastle United fans stand firmly behind Joe Willock. I hope the book is thrown at those who decide to hide behind the keyboard. Ash, very well said indeed, and I'm sure every genuine Newcastle United fan will be right behind you, as of course are we.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.